What is up, everyone? This is Soul with another video, and today we are featuring another thing of leak season, where I take some of the latest things that probably the fandom is trying to put out to try to convince people that yes, this is the thing that is coming next in World of Warcraft, and then I give them a good thrashing because it's a really bad idea, or it's terribly written, or they clearly have some sort of issue, some personal issue that they're not handling. Anyway, please like the video, subscribe for more stuff. Catch me where I'm live. I am not live right now. I'm actually doing this offline for a change. And what you see before you is not, in fact, a leak. This is real. This is part of a teaser that came out just the other day featuring Xal'atath and okay, maybe you can see my mouse cursor. So this is like a person's upper body, and then this might be the neck, and then the head hopefully is bending down. Hopefully this person's not beheaded. Here's a hand. Here's a weapon that looks like Lorthamar's sword. So is this Lorthamar? Maybe, probably. Could it be his son? Also very plausible. Could it be anyone else? Probably not. But clearly he's not in good shape. And Xal'atath is looking just fine. The sky is dark, but not that dark. But I'm sure like this is just kind of like the eye of the storm looking thing. And then, you know, beyond the background is like all sorts of void looking stuff. So this is just a taste of what we can expect to happen. And from the looks of it, this is just kind of a reminder that what's coming in the next couple of days is not happening in BlizzCon. It's happening at Gamescom. It's a different kind of convention, one of the biggest in the world, but it's not Blizzard. So what we can maybe expect is a little bit less security around promotional materials, localization, stuff like that. And it wasn't too long ago, it was Dragonflight when, in fact, you know, promotional materials and stuff, like a third-party company that was managing that stuff, at least we presume, is how we got to see, you know, the Dragonflight reveal. We got to see at least a sample of the key art and other promotional stuff. So who knows how the next couple of days are going to go, but today is Friday. We'll see how things go over the weekend in the days leading up to Gamescom and the midnight announcement. In the meantime, though, we're going to look at Slop, and I did my best to not read anything as usual. We're just going to take a look at what is being offered over at MMO Champion, react to it, and, well, let's just get this thing on the road. So we're starting off with Gamescom gameplay. That's the only reason why I clicked on this one. I'm like, oh, Gamescom gameplay, and then it turned out to be like a leak sort of thing. So here we go. Ethereal are available to both factions. Plausible. Same with Blood Elves and Void Elves. Ethereals can become demon hunters. Somehow. Their demon forms look like large green or purple void walkers, which would be awful. That doesn't fit like the badassness of a demon hunter at all. Excuse me. Demon hunters get a third damage spec and a third hero talent. We're getting the first half of the pre-launch quest line in the Gamescom thing? No way. Big doubt, dude. I don't think they're going to give like that sort of advanced thing this many months. Yeah, that's way too far in advance, I think. I think what we've normally seen from BlizzCon like demos, you know, playtesting like that, we would get like a zone, for Shadowlands. I remember we had Bastion. For World Soul Saga, we didn't get that at all. They didn't have anything to show. They just had like some older. So actually, they had Season of Discovery because that was like a new thing, and like something else. I forgot what was going on for like the modern game. But I remember like testing out Bastion. I remember for Warlords doing a dungeon. But the starting part of like a quest line like this, no, I don't remember that at all. Actually, honestly, I don't remember what happened for Battle for Azeroth at all. I have no memory of that, so maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, first quest is going to include Illyria, Varisa, sisters, and the player. They investigate the elf whose body Xal'atath possessed. So, okay. They find N'Zoth cultists with the Blade of the Black Empire and discover N'Zoth survived by hiding a piece of himself inside it. So just kind of a swap. Okay. Varisa disowns Illyria after Illyria, decides to keep it and work with N'Zoth against Xal'atath. That that doesn't seem quite right. Like, throughout this, minor spoiler, throughout this questline in Ghost of Koresh, Ilaria has been like hugely like, no way, don't trust Xal'atath, blah blah blah, and she was right, right? But then at the time, they also had no choice because she had the ability to do MacGuffin-y kinds of stuff and take care of stuff. In this case, though, this doesn't sound convincing for Illyria. She just decides, oh, I'm just going to use this dagger. This is a great idea. Yeah, I don't. That would feel, like too big of a pivot, considering that doesn't sound like there's going to be much of a time skip or time jump between now and midnight, at least probably. Second quest, Turalyon. Arator and the player travel to Alterac Valley after Turalyon receives a vision. They meet Thrall and his son, maybe Duroc, if I'm getting the name right. A group of primalists cause an earthquake which traps the Turalyon, Duroc, okay, it was Duroc, and the player underground. They find a hidden shrine filled with hybrid elementals. A shrine with hybrid elementals mixed with fire and light. Duroc gets blessed by their leader, and Duroc leaves with Turalyon to become his squire? What? Wait, just a squire? Okay, squire is a heavy word. That just sounds like garbage. Zones for pre-launch event include the Arathi Highlands. Damn, man, Arathi Highlands just gets hooked up with one revamp or one change after another. Belemeth? Oh, no, okay, this is for the pre-launch event. So, Arathi Highlands, Belemeth, that's Emirgisil, or, new spot. Gilneas and Shatrath. Legion Remix's story is we're being sent back to study how we survived the Legion's invasion as preparation for the Wait, this came out 2 days ago. So, how we survived the Legion as no, we know what happened. I don't recall off the top of my head. Heck, I was playing it yesterday. I don't recall off the top of my head how the Legion remix came about, but there is a plotline, and I'm pretty sure it's not exactly this. It was more like it's not so much a learning experience. So yeah, spoiler alert for the Legion remix, I guess. You the champion appear, and then like a time agent person is like, wait, what are you doing here? And then you're trying to like fix the timeline. So it's not exactly a hey, you're trying to learn something or yeah. So this sucks. Sorry, dude. This came out just a little bit too early. Yeah, because of everything that we've learned yesterday. So yeah, this came out on the 13th. The remix came out on the PTR the 14th, and then here we are, it's the 15th, and yeah, sorry, dude. Nice try. Bunch of low-hanging fruit, that seems kind of plausible, but a little bit of flaws. And then this one, this was the kiss of death. This was it. Anyway, WoW 12.0 leak. Take this information as you will, but I was in contact with a senior member of the Midnight Dev team, and it's a guy, typical, revealed this to me. So you just got the information like, hey, senior member of the Midnight Dev team, just spill the tea. Give it to me. Give me all of it. And then the dev is like, sure, and then just feeds him all some bullshit. So maybe that part might have been true, and then this person just feel like an idiot. But anyway, new level cap of 90, shocking. New hero talents. That's been controversial. I'm not quite sure how they're going to handle like hero specs. Are they just going to like, take the 3 specs and then make them longer, or are they going to like add more, or they're going to replace them? Not quite sure. We're going to get a new DPS 3rd spec for Demon Hunters. Kind of predictable, and I hope that they do in fact do it as a launch thing, not a mid patch sort of thing. That was really controversial. I know that that really threw people off, and it was a cool experiment, but I think I prefer to have it as a launch thing. Demon Hunter available for Void Elves and Nightborns. Void Elves are kind of plausible. Nightborns not so much, but I still wondered to myself, there's got to be a reason for, people need to want to become a demon hunter. Like, grr, I've been really wronged, or everything was taken away from me. Now I want to become a demon hunter because now I have no choice. I don't quite see that happening. Like if let's say at the start of midnight, Silver Moon's revamp is it gets destroyed, totally and utterly. Most people get dusted. The survivors, I'm sure they're going to be like super burned and angry, and they're going to feel lost, just like back in the day. So it would be a new generation, I guess, of demon hunters, or kind of like how there's a new generation of Death Knights. But then how would that go about? I don't know. Like I'm never really convinced about demon hunters being available um, for more races unless there's like this dire circumstance. But who knows? The story just needs to get written. New timed delves mode with infinite scaling of difficulty, like Mythic Plus dungeons. I know I wouldn't mind that because it's a personal thing. But I think it would also be like just pretty damn terrible because of the context of what delves are. They refresh every day. We get new stories and all that stuff. So how would you? So what would the context of a time delve be? Because you have X many delves times X many stories that change every day. Yeah, how do you measure that? So just saying that is like, okay, but without a little bit more explanation, it just falls flat, and it's not even convincing as something to be like, oh, I'm really angry about this because there's no example of it. A new PvE activity that involves countering void incursions. It could be anywhere on Azeroth. It's fully open world. More details in Gamescom conference, of course, because the leaker is like, oh, we'll tell you more later. You're right here, dude. You're leaking this, which is, yo, dude. Don't tease. Big rule of leak season. Don't tease. Just say this is what I know. Having something like this is one of many red flags. It's like, okay, you're full of shit. Profession minor rework. It's not even out yet, so I don't even know what kind of rework we can expect. Housing will not be central to the expansion. It will be an optional ancillary activity. We already know that. That's how it is supposed to be. All of Azeroth will be plunged into eternal night throughout the expansion with a dark purple aura in the sky. That's a prediction of mine, or a fantasy, maybe. Quothoth zones are all revamped and larger than at TBC. So it's okay. Super plausible because, well, and personally, I would like it if they actually just made the zones bigger too. That sounds very awkward if they were to do that. I just want them to, so that way it just feels like a bit more epic, and they could fit more stuff in there. That'd be fun. New Quothoth is coded as a new continent and will not be bound with Eastern Kingdoms because of technical limitations. Now I can see something like, let's pretend here. Let's pretend that it's only like the upper half of Eastern Kingdoms that got revamped or something like that. Or maybe it can be Quothoth, but maybe there can be like some sort of MacGuffin-y shield-y like thing that causes, kind of like how we go into Zerlite Caverns or the zones in War Within, how they kind of phase in and as we travel through, so there's no load screen. I personally would like it better if they did, in fact, jam everything onto one map. But if they couldn't really do that, then okay. If they were to use that sort of tech, I think that would be like quite plausible. Sorry, I think I've been off center. Let's see. The revamp of the entire old world will be done in stages, and it'll take a long time. Several expansions. That's very plausible. Quothoth will still be available. They better. 4 zones at release: Strathholm, which is not part of Quothoth, the Amon Forest or the Amani Forest, Ghostlands, Eversong Woods. Of course, Eversong Woods would be available unless Silvermoon is a big crater, and Quothoth is not available at release. It's going to be a max level, super raid thing because Sunwall stuff. The areas that were present in TBC have changed a lot. The developers want players to feel like time has passed between TBC and midnight. Hopefully the time passed made the zones bigger too. New allied races with high elves for the Alliance and forest trolls for the Horde. I don't buy into faction specific races anymore. It doesn't feel Doesn't feel right. I mean, after all, forest trolls were being wiped out by the high elves at the time. It's like, why would that be a thing? You know, because the blood elves would be like, no, I don't think so, something like that. One of the earlier leaks, it mentioned having ethereals as an allied race. That's much more plausible because hey, we're going, hey, you know, Sylvanas Sylvanas, Jesus. Xal'atath is attacking, you know, the Void's here, and then the Ethereal's like, okay, we're gonna help you so that way you don't have to suffer like we did, blah, blah, blah. You know, so that alone is like a good tie-in for making Ethereals into a playable race for both factions. Separate faction things feels like a hard sell these days. 8 new dungeons, 2 Amani themed, 1 human light themed, 1 Scourge themed. Okay, they're back. 1 Blood Elf themed, 1 Void Elf themed, and 2 Void themed. Okay, so yeah, okay. Capital City, Silvermoon West. Oh, west and east. High elves with a small Void Elf neighborhood. Only alliance players can be this area. And then Silvermoon East. Oh, splitting them? No, that I don't know, man. That I'm not sure about. Yeah, cutting the city, you know, kind of the same thing as like having the allied races be either Horde or Alliance. I don't quite see that happening. There's got to be a reason why they'd split up. And personally, blood elves are high elves are blood elves. They're basically the same. The difference is political affiliation, and like that's kind of it. And well, whatever, that's a personal thing. At the center of Silvermoon, where the Dead Scar is located, which cut the city in 2 parts, all neutral NPCs, black market, transmog stuff. So that's like the shared player hub, I suppose. It'll be the largest neutral capital city we've ever seen in WoW, with a lot of activities and side quests. I don't think it needs to be split in half to be neutral. Straight up. It's not necessary. They can kind of mesh together, and there could be awkwardness, but I think I prefer that. First raid will be a Monty Troll raid. Wait, this is a WoW 12.0 leak. Last I checked, this thing is going to be called Midnight. So, but hey, sometimes we have seen the first raid of an expansion kind of be like something different. Monty Troll with Kithix as the final boss. So Kithix is like, yeah, sure, Xal'atath, I'll work for you now. Sure. They don't know yet which dungeons will be in the Season 1 Mythic Plus rotation. And there's still more. Okay. I'll try to be faster this time. CGI cutscene takes place in the Sunwell Plateau, and Xal'atath confronts and kills Lothar. Kills him easily, you bastard. Don't do that. This is from yesterday. Okay, so this is probably like, ooh, I saw the teaser. Let's go ahead and feed into this. I hope he lives, but Lothar tries to reason with Xal'atath in his dying breath without success. What a punk. Xal'atath throws the Dark Heart into the Sunwell and corrupts it with the Void. That doesn't feel right. The way so what the Dark Heart is, it takes stuff, you know, it takes energies or whatever and turns it into Void. You don't throw it into the Sunwell. You like, you know, hold it up and be like, wow, 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 and then it like sucks up. You know, it should consume the Sunwell. That's what it should do. So I'm kind of a basic lore bitch, so maybe I'm wrong about that. But if I'm right about the logic there, then that's what kills the idea of this particular thing. And then I'll feel kind of proud because I'm like, haha, I know lore stuff. But let's read on. We then see a large aura of Void emanating from the well with a lot of creatures similar to Void Walkers coming out of this aura as opposed to descending from the sky like what we've seen in the teaser. Eversong Woods will be the generic zone like Isle of Dorn was. The plot will be about the Blood Elf and High Elf relationships being renewed. There will be some quest lines about the Void and the harmful effects of the Void's corruption of the Sunwell on the Elves. Blood Elves seek a new leader after the death of Lorthamar Theron because they're like, oh, like Rawmath and like Haldren and all that. Nah, screw you guys. We're looking for a new one. They'll be like, wait, what? That's kind of messed up. And no mention of the other tribes too. I think they mentioned how there are other elven tribes out there, but no mention of those. It's kind of messed up. Ghostlands will no longer have anything to do with those we knew in TBC, since they will be entirely healed and magically renovated by Quel'Tha and Sindori. In this zone, players help the local populations to eradicate the last vestiges and representatives of the Scourge. It will also be necessary to counter the incursions of the void-touched Amani trolls, which would be maybe a reason for the forest trolls to join up, but probably not. I don't know. Not convinced by that. The Amani have allied themselves with Xalatath. Didn't we just go over this whole thing about forest trolls and like void touch thing? Yeah. Make up your mind, trolls. Jeez. They promised to bring down Quel'Thalas and reclaim their ancestral lands. They have mastered void magic and have awakened the Black Empire's General Kithix. They're building an army ready to serve Xalatath. Players will be allied with a tribe of forest trolls, okay, I guess there we go, who descend from the Amani, the Reventusk, who will end up as an allied race for the Horde, yay. Over in Strouthholm, on the ruins of the human city, which hopefully is not still burning after all this time, the human and high elf survivors of the Scourge tried to rebuild a new civilization. Were there survivors? Were there survivors? I thought it was like every last man, woman, and child or whatever. They're trying to rebuild a new civilization with the light as their religion. In this area, we'll understand how the Scourge continues to haunt elves and humans. Fair and Lothar will convince them to join Arathor's empire. So she's just gonna recruit these dudes to join, even though she has, like, you know, apart from Halfall, no real base of operations. Okay. In this area, we'll understand how the Scourge continues to haunt elves and humans. Farron will, oh, sorry, I reread that. In this area, we'll see characters like Turalian, Varisa, and even Arathor, because Arathor's a place, old place. The High Elves of the Silver Covenant will become the Alliance's new allied race. They will have exclusive customizations to differentiate them and the Blood Elves and the Void Elves. Why do they need to be different? I'm like, I know some Void Elf customization is like, okay, they'll look like this, but they should really like merge some of these things, but oh well. Isle of Caldenas will be a max level only zone completely under the control of Xalatath. She uses the Sunwell to summon powerful creatures from the Void and plunge Azeroth into Eternal Night. This zone will not be available directly at the release of the expansion, but is planned for a later patch, much like the Broken Shore was in Days of Legion. I don't have any further details regarding this zone. No info about Sylvanas. Okay, that's plausible too. Lots of little holes here, but that's kind of typical. But this feels like a good effort in part of this leaker. That's about it. Good efforts. Not really convinced though. Moving on. What I know. So I've got a bit of information from an early alpha build. Not much, admittedly, because otherwise if I try to say too much, then it's going to seem fake, but he has a bit. Alpha is due to come out relatively soon, early to mid-September. Plausible? This sounds really safe. This is going to sound like a really safe leak. 12-0 is Xalatath dropping the Darkheart into the Sunwell, cue the Void Invasion. I'm still kind of hard up on the whole, like, I think she would rather absorb the Sunwell than drop it in. Anyway, no new class, Void Demon Hunters coming in 1127. Ooh, bold. So this one, actually that wouldn't be a bad idea either, to introduce a third spec after the expansion is over. You know, after War Within is pretty much over, and there's like less of an impact, less of an urgency, but it also doesn't feel fun because, you know, traditionally, the last patch of an expansion is where the fewest people are playing. You know, that's what that John Haidt graph asserts, and you know, I trust that trend. That makes a lot of sense because it's like, oh, I'll just wait until like the new expansion. Why come in early? Pre-order thing or whatever. But maybe that'll excite people who are currently playing, at least Demon Hunters, and that's it. There's no new race, very plausible too. More class and race customizations, like Paladins for all races, Demon Hunters for all elves. So that's just Void Elves. I still don't see Nightborn being like, yeah, let's go. You know, the people of the city are like, oh yeah, sure, why not? Unless there's like something devastating that happened to them. 4 major zones, including Eversong Woods, most of the Eversong Woods, not including Silvermoon, then Silvermoon, then Ghostlands, then Amana, So Amon or Amana, are either of them right, or is there an actual name? But it's the area of Ghostlands mostly inhabited by the demonic trolls. Talanji is a big presence in Amana because I guess she's going to assert her empire, influence, I suppose. And Chandris, Night Elf, right? Chandris is in Eversong Woods. Like, hey, you know what? You represent the Night Elf leadership these days. Come on over because we can't forget about the Night Elves. I did find a bit of text that kind of made it seem like we'd be fighting Xelatath, though when we'd fight her in game, I'm not sure. I am shocked. What? We're gonna fight Xelatath? This isn't everything, of course. Blizzard only lets you see what they want you to see, and even then, they're not keen. If anyone's curious, I've been doing some localization work for Blizzard, which is like kind of the closest thing to being like a credible claim to association of that. So this thing is safe, very safe. These are plausible, or it's like we kind of know that some of these things are happening, but then like some of the assertions, like, okay, what are the trolls going to be? The trolls are no doubt going to be part of Midnight somehow, some way. But as for like allied race and whatnot, or a raid, not sure. Got 4 more, guys. First off is the Midnight leak you were waiting. Oh, this is brave coming from someone with a high post count. I really like reading all of those leak threads. It's funny what some people come up with, so I decided to give it a try. This is never mind. Sorry. This was a short one. Midnight limited info leak. Won't say how I got my hands on some of the materials for Gamescom, but now you got caught. I'm sure I don't know everything, but here's what I do know. The zones are Quel'Thalas, Zul'Aman. Oh, Zul'Aman. We're going to take this dungeon and just like, we'll just make a whole ass zone from it. Gilneas and Nathriza? What? Saw the Light Dreadlord from Legion, Yarel and the Windrunner sisters, and a vampire-y Kael'thas among some elves and trolls I didn't recognize at a glance. No clue about features like races or classes, but the shit I saw didn't even have anything about housing, so obviously the materials didn't have everything. January 26th release date? That's okay, that's wild, dude. Like pretty much most of the models are predicting something closer to like mid-February. My model is like early March-ish, something like that. And this is mostly counting the 8-week patch cadence, plus a little bit more for the holiday break and a little bit more for the pre-patch and what have you. I mean, heck, okay, yeah, this came out today, January 26th release day. I think this is based on the calendar thing that was data mined from the recent 11.25 PTR, where it said that the Legion remix would end, I think, on the 19th. So yeah, that's the assertion there. Strong, yeah, that I don't know, man. Not the Riza. That's wild. Yeah. The Void's under attack. We have no choice but to turn to the Dreadlords. Yeah, that's a great idea, dude. All right, Midnight General Leaks. Ooh, this is long. The story of Midnight simplified. This is not simplified. This is a long post. Simplified is as follows. Xelatath attacks the various remaining Well of Eternity fonts. Wait, there's more? So what? Did she like corrupt the whole Maelstrom somehow or something like that? And then, okay, she corrupts the various Well of Eternity fonts, corrupting each. The last one, and she's most adamant to corrupt it. Wait, so there are others. But then now she really wants to corrupt the Sunwell. Maybe I'm missing something there. She believes corrupting each of them will transition Azeroth into a being of pure void. From the get-go, it's assumed this is her only motive, corruption. The Elven clans assemble to defend Silvermoon from the onslaught of void, although their alliance is strenuous and teeters on breaking constantly, though. That's kind of plausible. Eretor is the one to bring everyone together through the power of friendship, basically. Also plausible. While the elves get their time in the spotlight, there'll also be a troll unification story involving the Amani. The Amani have turned a new leaf, and have made an alliance with the mysterious Heronir, who are chasing the source of corruption harming Azeroth. Oh, so that's a cool way to to ham-fist it back in. Humans and dwarves will get a story of their own in the first questing zone. fighting against Scarlets and Usurper Arathi that have joined them. Danath, Falstad, and Farron take center stage for this. So this is like a big Marin Trollbane sort of story too. We'll revisit the Isle of Dorn throughout the story, which would be very cool actually. Well, not Dorn, but just all of Khazalgar to like make it feel like a thing again. Magni, Dagrin, Thrall, and Brinth are helping the rest of Dorngal fix the core wave. I mean, not to diss on my fellow Horde dudes, but like, why is Thrall mentioned here? I would want to think like, hey, the people, the troops that have been chilling there, they're gonna finally like help do things, like, you know, bring in some of their industrial might, or goblins will help or something like that. We'll receive occasional bi-weekly updates on Azeroth, on Azeroth's well-being through these quests, sparked by completing the weekly objective daily. That would be kind of a cool thing, but kind of awkward. You know, it's like, hey, midnight stuff, and then but then first thing in the week we get sucked back into, you know, Khazalgar for like this sort of stuff. I was more thinking like maybe one of the mid patches will take us back to Khazalgar because, hey, we're gonna do something with Beladar. That's gonna do something. I don't know. By the end of 12.1, so by the end of season 2, the Sunwell has been claimed and becomes creatively named the Voidwell, and Xal'atath flees. Why would she run? She should just like hang out there because that's like her hot spring now. By the end of 12.2, or actually a foot spring, sorry. By the end of 12.2, or the end of season 3, we fight Xal'atath at Azeroth's World Soul. We discover Xal'atath had an epiphany similar to Sargeras. She saw the Titans rebuild reality as they saw fit and reset worlds when they did not match their image. She saw them build the Shadowlands. Wait, what? Sorry. She saw the Titans rebuild reality as they saw fit and reset worlds when they did not match their image. Okay. She saw them build the Shadowlands? I mean, the whole cosmology thing, like it's all a bunch of differing perspectives and whatnot, but last I checked, the Titans didn't build the Shadowlands. It was like, you know, whatever the first ones are, or whatever, you know, Zereth Mortis, Zereth yada yada. That's how the Shadowlands came to be. So this is my lore red flag there. Yeah. The Void Lords and Old Gods are still evil, but Xal'atath is not affiliated with them. She wishes to claim Azeroth so she can destroy the Titans and free the universe from their tyranny. She succeeds in beginning the birthing of Azeroth by destroying her prison, and then flees. She then goes on to join Sargeras in the last Titan. Whoa, this is getting wild. She then goes on to join with Sargeras, so she like goes to the seat of the Pantheon and be like, hey guys, I'm pulling this dude out. Him and I are gonna like do stuff. Be right back. Okay. Some notes. Sylvanas originally played a role in all of this. She came back and attempted to convince Azeroth that Xal'atath's plan will save everyone from the prison that is reality. Oh boy. She didn't convince everyone, or least of all being me, but convinced enough of the boy to fear her. I'm not sure if Blizzard is still following through with this. I can't confirm this is true, but I know there were talks about a story reset after the story reset. Oh man. This is one of those classic players, aren't they? You know what they really need to do? They just need to throw out all the old story and then start brand new and call it World of Warcraft 2. Let's see if we get to that. So story resets after the last Titan by waking Azeroth up and having her free reality from the Titan's control. The idea was to give WoW a fresh look of paint, coat of paint, I think, with new main characters and a new jumping off point for players. Less confusion about where to start, instead dropping new players off in an entirely new Eastern Kingdoms sized landmass. Yeah, sorry, buddy. I'm not convinced. That sword does not play a role in Midnight. Cheeky. Zones at launch will include Thaz Balore, a mixture of crags and small forests. It's mostly a straight path from Tirisfal to Quel'Thalas, dwarves and trolls territory with lots of Quel'Tharai history, including ghostly flashbacks to their arrival in Quel'Thalas. So, I'm not sure if the name already exists in lore or if that's made up, but it's a place that is mostly managed by dwarves and trolls, but still called Thaz Balore. I'd figure that they would like claim it and, you know, name it for themselves. But anyway, it also includes Quel'Thalas. Both the Ghostlands and Eversong Woods are combined, which feels like a very plausible thing, that they just take those things and just like merge them all into like one big zone, and then like, hey, now there's a zone, and then new zones are just like attached somewhere. It's going to be similar in shape to what's in the game now, although drastically reworked. It's very pretty. Spoiler alert. Amani Mountains, not forest, but mountains. It's a zone to the west. It's a troll region full of zip wires, rock climbing, and gliding. It's a fun zone. We don't need a glide. We can skyride, which is controlled gliding. And then Silvermoon City, it's double in size, includes Sunstarter Isle. It's a questing zone. Wait, it includes Sunstarter Isle? Like, sorry, new Blood Elves. Need it. It's a questing zone like Surmar, but also the player hub. And then this dude also knows the patch zones, including Stratholme, which is a 10 renown track zone. A renowned zone. You can gain renown from daily quests, a nightfall sort of event, and a mega dungeon. Stratholme becomes a mega dungeon. Man, Stratholme was gonna burn forever, I swear. Tirisfal, you're not gonna spend long there, mostly to conclude the Scarlet and Arathi story that'll be going on. New dells, but you know, that's something we haven't seen in any of these leaks. No mention of delves. So thank you, this person. That's a +1. New dells, but no Scarlet Monastery, dungeon, or raid sad face. Isle of Coldenas, which has reflective void glass everywhere. It's a very cool zone. You can see twisted reflections of the area you're in through them, including corrupted versions of yourself. Sometimes mobs hop through. Keep your eyes peeled for a void mount obtainable this way. Dude, everything's got a mount. That's not a spoiler. Raids include the Maxima. Oh, that sounds kind of cool. The Maxima, the Silvermoon Underbelly. It's an amalgam of arcane, fel, and now void energy, threatening to destroy Silvermoon if not confronted. This raid will be how Eretor convinces the Dorai, the elves, to come together. Okay. The Sunwell, or the Voidwell, you jump between a void dimension and the broken halls of the plateau to reach Xalatath. And then Hour of Midnight. It's a raid that begins in Silvermoon, although you jump across Azeroth to fight against the void. Think the Emerald Nightmare raid. Concludes, oh, if it's an Emerald Nightmare raid, then nothing was real, right? So it concludes in a very cool fight zone called the Containment of Azeroth, which sounds neat. It features things called incursions. Think anchors from Elder Scrolls Online. Players can jump into them from level 10, as they happen all across the Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor, intended to be an easy way to level and earn cosmetics, as well as gear drops from the bosses. You know, that sounds cool. But it's also kind of sort of counter to the idea of, hey, hey, I'm Holly Longdale, and I think leveling should improve. It's going to be a long process, and, you know, we hope you're patient about it. And then they introduce like the Laurel Walk and stuff. But no, screw all that. We have incursions. We're just gonna make it fast. So that's not a very convincing sell to me. Not as a leveling thing, as a midnight thing, you know, so like level 80 to 90 or whatever level experience it's going to be. Yeah, that seems plausible, but as a leveling thing, not so much. Renown, a Lightforged coalition with the Argents, the Arathi, the Wildhammer, Alliance and Horde fighting for control over Stratholme. It's a 10-thing Renown track. Some really, really nice cosmetics lined up for this. Player housing, obviously. Warlords remix. Warlords, so they already decided the Warlords of Draenor. Okay, that's, to me, that's another red flag. You can't remix that thing. Sorry guys, it is what it is. It's not going to change. And the final one, which is a pretty short one, Midnight Overview. Like how the World Soul Saga was announced in one go, Midnight's full expansion cycle is going to be announced next week. So here, oh, bold, if true. Announce. That sounds dull. Yeah, I think that's a bit too much to announce like the whole expansion too. Well, let's see what they have to offer us, right? 12 Midnight, fight alongside the forces of the light to cast out the void from Quel'Thalas. Zones are going to include Ghostlands, Eversong, Zul'Aman, and Sunwell Isle zones. That's a small ass zone, sorry man. Battle for the Sunwell raid. Allies will include Ilaria, Urel, was like, Urel? Oh, yeah. No, wait, how? Urel, Ramith, Ashara, Liadrin, Kale, dude, okay, come on, dude. Kael'thas, Umbric, Tyrande, Thalyssra, Venari. No Sylvanas? What? No, yeah, come on, because we're at this point, okay? Enemies are going to include Zaltath, Lorthamar. I guess this person, okay, this is from yesterday. This person is thinking, okay, so maybe Lorthamon. Maybe he bent the knee to Zaltath. It's like, yeah, girl, I love your feet. And then Thalysstra's like, oh, hell no. And then there's going to be big drama. But then, yeah, he betrays him, I guess. Haldren and Anastarian Sunstrider. Yeah, so not even a mention of, oh, no, there's Thalystra. Okay, so she's there. Because otherwise I'd be like, what? You just like ditch her? That's messed up. Ethereal Allied Race is coming in 11.2.5. Oh no, that's upcoming here. Wait, 11 point. Nope. This is yesterday, 1:58 a.m. Oh, this came out just a little bit too early. Just a little bit too early. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, this thing's fake as heck, but we're gonna keep going. But yeah, this is what killed it. The Ethereal Allied Race. It would have been announced with it. It was not. So sad song. 12.1 Siege of Shatrath. Push the Lightbound armies back to their stronghold on Draenor. Okay, we're... What? Wait. Midnight Overview. Pushing the Lightbound back. Allies include Urel. So... Wait, okay, so... Siege of Shatrath raid. Allies include... Chromash, Thrall, Kara, Durtan, and Iskar from the Bird Dude. Lightbound Front Zone, Siege of Shatrath raid. Allies, I'm sorry, enemies include Zira, she's back, apparently. Urel, who's was an ally in the Lightbound, and an Ericor ally, and another allied race. Dude, let's just pour the whole bucket over, right? And then 12.2, Lordaeron Eternal. Stop the Twilight in their capital on Azeroth from combining light and shadow into one force. Why am I trying to finish this? Lordaeron Zone, a Lordaeron City raid. So apparently that's gonna get hella bigger. Allies will include the Windrunner sisters. So yeah, hey, Sylvanas is back too. I'm waiting for Nathanos. Kalia Menethil and Lady Liadrin. Enemies will include Turalyon now, and Gen, and the Scarlet Crusade, and Zalatath, and Alonza's Foul, and Benedictus, who's, hey, I'm back. Okay, this league season ended like a fireball, or like just like a crashing plane. Thanks, Overview League, for that one. So that was entertaining, and you can't get that time back. Sorry about that. But which thing did you think was like the most plausible? I thought all of it was like pretty trash. There's very little that was like, ooh, this sounds cool and kind of convincing. Like none of it really like sold it. And funny enough, no one's mentioned Delves. So for like those of you who are going to make up some crap on Monday, and there will be, don't forget about Delves. All right, Delves are important. I think you know, potential victims of League Season will want to know about like new Delves, or like a new, you know, a new companion person who will hopefully not be Bran. Yeah, so that's gonna be it. And yeah, was there anything that was convincing? Nah, not really. But I'm looking forward to maybe one more episode of League Season right up before the midnight announcement and everything. So I can't wait to see what kind of garbage that people come up with. But of course, I can't wait for Tuesday either. So I'm going to be streaming the entire thing. So show up Tuesday. It's going to start 11. There's going to be like a big old video thing that's going to start 11 a.m. Pacific on Tuesday. And we're going to be hanging out for a few hours waiting for the midnight announcement to be a thing. That's how it's going to work. So I hope you'll join me there. Please like the video, subscribe for more stuff, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.